Sensation, messy hair and all, end of the day. Gotta rush to get a PC so I can race tonight. Is it gonna happen? I don't know. We're gonna get the PC, but will I make my race tonight? Damn, it's dark in here. Flip the light on. There we go. I got my wallet. I gotta get my wife's, got something for my wife, but I wanna let you know that I am on the hunt at 7:25 at night. It's about 25 minutes away. I got a $100 bill in my pocket for one hell of a deal on Sensation. You guys are gonna love it. I might put it on our series, Find It, because I found it. I just gotta go get it, fix it, and flip it. So here we go at Sensation, off to crazy stuff. Let me shut you off because I am crunching time. Boys and girls, just crunching it. So let me shut you off and I'll catch you back on in just a few. All right, Sensation, the day after our hot marketplace find. That's right. Nope, in all seriousness, I'm gonna tell you where this went wrong. Okay, so I broke every rule on buying off of Marketplace or Craigslist. And I'm gonna tell you why. And I want people to be able to use this as a lesson of what not to do when you're buying on Marketplace, or you're meeting somebody off a Facebook page or something that you may have bought a computer, or we'll take it for anything. So if a deal is too good to be true, guess what, people? It's usually too good to be true, right? So that was the first rule that I broke. The second rule I broke is I got in a hurry that says, I've gotta go get it right now. So it was probably 7:20 p.m. last night, literally 7:20 roughly. And I found this deal and I'm like, an i7 with a 5700 XT and 32 gigs of RAM for $100. I don't care if it's missing a hard drive. I don't care if it's missing a power supply. I don't even really care what kind of case it's in at that point, right? So I message them, boom, set up the deal, and I run 25 minutes away and I pick this thing up, right? I didn't mess with it last night because I literally got home just in time to go make my race, my sim race. And it's, you know, Truck Series first start of the season, so you don't want to miss that. So I was like 32 minutes late getting into that, but that's fine because we have an hour practice, so that wasn't the great big deal. But let's take a look at the rules I already broke. I looked at something too good to be true, number one. I rushed to go get it at night when I was in a hurry. That's a big no-no. So when I meet this young man in a parking lot that's dark, I don't even take the time to pull a side panel off or anything to take a look at what's inside the case, okay? So basically, with no clear side panel, because I'll show you the side panels on this, no clear side panel, there was no way to look at the case. And then I'm going to show you furthermore what another flag or telltale sign is, because I've never seen anyone do this in my life. But I'll show you another telltale sign. So when I show you this build, not only is it not what the young man said it was, but I believe it was just junk parts put together and put into a case, into an old case. People are scamming like this all the time, and I missed all the signs. Had it been a regular Sensation deal, I would have taken the side panel off and investigated what was inside before I bought it. So I was scammed by the midget kid. No, I'm not picking on short people here. I just got scammed by the midget kid. And I was literally scammed by this kid, right? And it's not the first time I've been scammed, and I did this to myself. Because last night, when I was excited and turned that camera on, you should have seen in my eyes that all the safeguards were gone. So let's take a look at the case first and foremost. Oh, look, it's got a DVD drive and cool cars on it. Oh my God, how could it not be worth $100? It's not in bad shape, the case isn't. The side panels aren't either. but it's not a real desirable case now, although we could make a budget build out of it. But regardless, let's take a look at our RX 5600 XT here as I flip this on the side. So the first thing you'll notice is nothing's hooked up down here. None of this is hooked up, so none of the power pins or anything's hooked up, right? And I look at that graphics card and I'm like, that sure don't look like an RX 5600 XT. So, I mean, yeah, it's got an 8 and a 6 pin, and my RX 5600 XT that I personally had that. But if you look at it, it looks like an older card. And I'm like, what is this card? Because it doesn't say. We need a screwdriver because I'm going to take that card out and show it to you. I can see the sticker, but I don't know if the camera's going to be able to. But we'll try. So there's a sticker right there, and if the camera focuses in on it, you're going to see that it says that it's an R9 290X, I believe. So definitely not the RX 5600 like was said in the ad. So I haven't checked the memory yet. We'll pull a stick of it out here and see what it is, but it is ballistics memory, and they're really hard to see what size they are. But sometimes you can go through the model number and figure it out. And I think it's a 4 gig stick, to be honest with you. Judging by the model number, I think that's what we got here. But we're just going to take this stuff out and look at it because we need to see what works out of what we got scammed on our $100 on, right? So the first telltale sign is that you do not confirm what you buy when you purchase it, right? In a normal purchase on a marketplace deal of mine, the first thing that comes off is the side panel. And I take the side panel off to inspect what's inside this case, right? Or what kind of crap we got going on. So the first rule that I broke on any purchase, and I should have walked away right here. There's no IO shield on this. That's a pet peeve of mine. If they don't have an IO shield, it better be a smoking deal with really good parts. That's all I'm saying. So that was the first telltale sign that I missed. The second telltale sign, it's just got this stock cooler on here. There's no telling what CPU we got in here. We might have an i5, an i7. I can tell you it is DDR4 memory, and it has NVMe slots on this board, which tells me that it's probably a 4th gen board, a 4th gen Intel board. I'm not going to deny that. It is an aftermarket cooler, but it's nothing fancy, so that's that. No cables or nothing running up to this guy up here. I think they took an old case, somebody did, and they put non-working junk parts in it. I haven't tested it yet to know that for sure, but I think that's what we have going on here. So we are going to take a look at that, and we're going to see. I have the test monitor and stuff set up in the keyboard over there. You've probably seen it, and that's because I had my you'll see a Windows 10 IoT installation video with my Plex server that I was reloading with Windows because of a problem with it. But let's get away from that and go back to our marketplace find here. So the next thing you'll notice is that motherboard is not even bolted in right. That's your first telltale sign. It's got the wrong screws in it probably. That's your first telltale sign that either somebody's a complete dumbass or they knew exactly what they were doing when they just pieced this thing together with bad parts, right? We're going to hope that that's not the case entirely, and that the memory's not junk, the motherboard's not junk, the CPU's not junk, and the graphics card's not junk. But I didn't get a 5600 XT. I got an R9 290X, and the value between those two cards is considerable. It's not even a contest. The value, and not just the value, but the worthiness of the two. I mean, you can game modern games on a 5600 XT. The 290X, probably not so much anymore. You can definitely game some older titles, and if this card works, I got a perfect home for it. So, you know, me and my nostalgic builds, right? So if it, but it wouldn't be $100 piece for me. So in order for this to be worth my while for the $100, Our $50 graphics card here needs to work because that's about the value of it. I would probably be hard pressed to get $50 out of it if I sold it outright, right? So we need our $50, alleged $50 graphics card to at least work. And I'm gonna need the motherboard and processor to work. If not, there is no feasible way, guys and gals on YouTube, that I'll recover my money on this. And that is a fact. So basically, I took my $100 and threw it away on garbage here because I ignored all the rules of buying on Marketplace or any Facebook page or any other app like that. I lied. I'm pretty confident it's not going to work, so I'm going to go ahead and take the board out now and just bench test it, and that's how we're going to start this out. Then I'll look for obvious things on the board that might be burnt or signs that the board is bad. So if it doesn't work, I mean, that's what we're going to do. It even could be a memory incompatibility issue with people throwing stuff together. So we'll hope that the kid was just trying to build his first PC. But the dishonesty on the ad tells me that that's not the case, guys and gals. Likely the kid ripped us off, but we're going to do our due diligence because actually if it all worked, I mean, we have about a $200 budget PC probably. So after I put a power and supply and stuff in it, I might make $25 at the end of the day. You see what I mean? I'm going to set it up on top of the case and do it. I'm going to put a fan under it to isolate it because I need to be close to a power source for our power supply. So I am going to do that, and then I'll get you guys set up over there, but I can see that my SD card's only got a little bit of storage left on it, so I really need to clear this out. I've got a lot of content that I've recorded, so we'll have to get some of that off and put on our computer for editing later. But there's the board. I mean, overall, visually, it doesn't look bad. You know what I mean? It's a little bit dusty, but not bad. I don't see anything broken off or no obvious capacitors bulged or anything like that. So we likely might be dealing with the incompatibility issue, but we'll see. I mean, I've had good looking motherboards that didn't work before, right? So we'll see. Let me set it on top of this case over here, get our power supply hooked up, everything hooked up to it, and let's give it a fighting chance. You see what I mean? Will it post or will it not? We're going to see. Right here on SimStation, that's what we do. Okay, we got this thing set up on the floor and we got pretty red lights. Everything is hooked up and plugged in right. So a couple of reasons why I took this out of the case here. I got power on just to see if it smoked, and it don't. A couple of reasons is to make sure the case wasn't creating a short from somebody throwing a motherboard in and not really knowing what they were doing with the wrong screws and stuff. Because if you got standoffs in the wrong place, it can create a short and cause this not to boot or not to post when we try it. The other reason is I wanted to make sure everything was plugged in tight when we got the power supply in. It looked like it was thrown together garbage, and we're going to find out if that's what it is, right? How bad did we get scammed at SimStation on this one? So without further ado, let me see if I can find the bent up power pins down here, and let's just see what it does. All right. It turned on and right back off again. So that's probably not good. So let's get down here a little closer and try it again. Now it's doing nothing. Nope, it takes off and it quits. It just vroom and it's quits. All right, so it's looking more and more likely like the dishonest little mini kids scammed me. Look at that. Let's shut it off. Folks, we have been scammed. So what I'm going to do, since it's just taking off and then shutting off, that tells me it's not even getting past the CPU stage more than likely. Let's pull the memory out of the thing. because that can be a problem. If it's incompatible or something like that, then thankfully we got some more DDR4 we can try in it. I'm going to pull it out and just see if it'll run without the memory. Nope, on and right back off again. So whatever's happening is happening quickly. Alright, so it's likely not a memory issue either. The memory's out of it. I would suspect that this thing should just run even when the memory's out. That would be my thought behind it. So this board's probably going to take a little bit more looking at. I'm going to throw one memory stick in it just for the hell of it, right? At this point, we've been scammed. I told you what to look for and why I thought I was scammed and how I was an idiot and broke all the rules of a smart buyer or a smart purchaser, right? And that's mostly what this video is about. I mean, I come up with that this morning after I realized removing the side panel and things not being as they seem, that the kids scammed me. But we'll be able to do other stuff with it. Hopefully the graphics card works. We'll test it next, but okay, so now it's not doing nothing. Even with one stick, it's just doing the same thing. So it tries to ramp up and it shuts right off. I have tested that power supply. It's one that I bought from the Goodwill store in Tallahassee, and I know that it works. So I know the power supply is not what's doing it. None of these pins are touching each other or shorted out here. And I don't see anything else on the board that's going to be causing an issue. The lights are coming on the board. But we are certainly not posting. But it does make a nice fan noise when you bump start it. Well, so we know we're getting reaction from the power button. But what is causing it not to post? This board's going to require further investigation. So at this point of the video, I'm going to go ahead and stop it. I don't have to test it any farther. Well, I'm going to test it farther, but I'm pretty sure that we have got a bad motherboard. So I'm not going to completely end the video because I do want to test the graphics card, guys and gals. And I do want to pull the CPU cooler off there and see exactly what CPU is in this thing and whether or not, well, I guess it tells us more how bad that we did get scammed, right? So I do have a good home for that. It's a 280X. It's not even a 290X, so it's a 280X. So not even as good as what I thought. Now it's a $35 card. I'm just being honest. Now it just become a $35 card, right? So I'm going to get everything unplugged here. And I need to pick all this up in here anyway. I'm going to get in big trouble from the missus if I don't, right? All right. I went down a different road. I got it running now. Most of you won't have an arsenal of CPUs. That's why I didn't use it on the main video. This is going to be a separate video. This is a scam PC and motherboard. So the first thing that I did is I pulled the CPU out, realized it was a Xeon, okay? And when I realized it was a Xeon, I got the model number off the motherboard. On this one, it's the Asus Prime B250 Plus. And I literally went to Asus's website, put that board in, and I looked at the CPU support. I gotta grab my drink before it freezes. Sorry about that. But I looked at the CPU support, and that Xeon 1240, that E3 1240 V5 was not on the supported list. It does support 6th gen, and 7th gen Intel. And I figured that being a B250 board. So I went in my CPU stash and pulled out an i5-6400. I popped it in there and it runs now. So it doesn't turn on and shut off no more. However, we're not getting a post. So what led me down this road is I thought that maybe the kid's not a mini scammer, he's just an idiot. And pardon me for saying it that way, he's inexperienced. We'll go with that. And he was putting an incompatible system together. So that's the road I'm going down now. And the progress we've made is we can get it to stay running now. But we're still not posting. So I'm gonna go get some different memory and we're gonna swap some memory around and see if we can get this board to post. Because maybe we literally didn't get scammed, but we found a kid who's an inexperienced idiot, right? So let's dive down that rabbit hole and see if we're correct on this and it wasn't a scam. Well, it's still a scam because it's not what was advertised, but maybe, just maybe, inexperience caused it. All right, I admit defeat on this one. I done put the motherboard away. We'll address it on a different day, maybe test on it. I'm gonna pick this mess up here. But this case, I like it. I like it because it gives us something to work on in the shop. That's right. And we're gonna put a budget build together with it. And we're gonna use parts that we already have on hand. That's the nice part about doing a budget build. So we might not make, we might have lost money on the deal, right? But we can still make something out of nothing. I can promise you. I'm gonna test those parts on a live stream tonight. Not the motherboard, obviously, because we've already been down that road. But we can test the memory in another system. We can test the graphics card. So we're gonna do that in a live stream tonight. But other than that, I think that's gonna, well, I mean, I got to close out for the video, but that's gonna conclude our. That's going to conclude my $100 mini human scam me. He definitely scammed me. Purposely. You don't put those kind of statistics in your ad unless you're scamming somebody. You don't say you have an i7 CPU when you have a Xeon in there. You don't say you have a RX 5600 XT when in fact there's an R9 280X in there. That's scam. It is. So somebody taught the mini human some bad habits and is teaching them the wrong things. Honesty will always be the best policy and karma will always bite someone in the ass. I do believe that even at 51 years old. So that's it. We got scammed. I'm admitting defeat on this one. I could get it to run as you've seen in the video. I mean, I changed it to a CPU that was supported and we got the CPU to stay on. It actually starts up, shuts off, and then refires like it's learning the memory. So we might be able to look into it further, but I'm not holding out hope on that board. We're going to go a different direction with the case than the other parts though. The 280X, definitely probably going with the Phenom 2x6 build because I'm going to use that 1070 probably in this build as a budget build because I got a motherboard and stuff back there and things, you know, Simsation's brain's turning. But I'm going to throw this part into the video, although it happened after the closeout and after I got done testing all that stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And it probably should be a very informative one.